Auto sequence start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I live by the old code of second floor!
Why look for a scientific explanation when you can put blind trust in an invisible Sky Daddy?
Sky Daddy all the way.
Go watch your crappy sitcom! Turn up full volume, why don't you?
Oh, Reed, weird, I can't even get through my couch!
All right, and welcome back to Second Floor Experience, everyone. It's not been a minute for you guys, but it's been a minute for us. And Zach is officially back in state.
Back.
In Austin. Welcome back.
But how many episodes have we had where I'm like, that's the start?
Dude,
Zach's back from a trip.
did we do one for when you guys went to Florida in March? Or
Probably.
maybe? And then definitely for when you came back for
The camping trip recently, or like when I drove to Tennessee.
Oh,
Or no.
yeah, that one. And I forgot about that one. And when you came back from your 3-month hiatus
Yeah.
over the holidays.
Gosh. That feels like so long ago, dude. But it also doesn't.
Yeah, and then I forgot about that. When you drove to the camping trip.
Yeah.
That was wild.
That was like a month ago.
Oh my gosh. Was it?
Which, well, no, not even, I don't think. Well, actually now, yeah, probably.
How so? You were gone for 3 weeks.
That's right. It was what I think it was 3 weeks before I left that happened, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so then it must have been like 6 weeks ago.
Okay. Dang. My time is way off, dude. Gosh.
Well, you're back. How does it feel? We were just talking
Feels
earlier
good.
about how fast it felt.
Yeah. Always. It feels good to be back though. Get back on track, back in the routine,
Back in the saddle.
back in the saddle,
Mm.
back in the duplex, the batch house.
Back in the batch house.
Yeah.
So, how about these freaking floods? I feel like we have to. We have to
Dude.
cover that.
Insane, bro. I can't even believe, like, how many people have died so far?
I think almost 80.
I couldn't imagine that, dude.
I saw some pictures from the Camp Mystic, where it was like an all girls camp that's like where I think it's like 20 girls, something like that, got swept away, and the director and one of the camp counselors, and it looked pretty freaky because like the water went all the way through. It just like
I bet.
decimated everything.
I'm trying to like imagine what it would be like to experience that, like a flash flood. Because like in my head, like off rip, in my head I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm a pretty decent swimmer. It's like I don't like imagine myself being taken out. But I'm like, then you have like these grown adults who are like just taken away, and then they just find their bodies. So like,
Yeah.
I guess it's just like
I think the
like,
current's
is
usually,
the current that strong? I guess like that's insane, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I bet it would surprise us.
Yeah. Then again, too, if like you're in like a house or something, and it starts flooding and you can't get out, or like it gets swept away, like, yeah.
Did you see the videos today that Nathan sent in? Nathan Minji sent in?
Oh, from the property they're working on? Yeah. Yeah.
That dude's Corvette got
Dude,
bloody
done. Yeah, I bet you said it's dead. Like, it's Done.
That sucks.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they were saying it's like a once in a century, like 1 in 100 years type flood.
That's so like, what's up with Texas weather where it's like out of nowhere you have like a once in a lifetime snow or like ice breakout,
Yeah.
and then like out of nowhere you have like a flash flood that's never happened. Like,
Dude, the ice storm in 2020.
I think it was 2021. I think
2021?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
That was crazy.
Yeah, dude,
Freaking-
that was a crazy time.
That was like 2
bro.
weeks straight.
Yeah,
And like the spring, it was like in March, February, March.
yeah, dude. People's electricity going out, like no water.
Sagu's pipes burst and like flooded some of the dorms. I was thinking about that actually, like I think today or yesterday. I remember being so freaking bored during that time.
Yeah,
So bored. Because after a while, you just like can't go anywhere.
yeah. I remember like having a week off from work because like no one could like you literally couldn't drive to. I mean anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then because everything shut down, like all stores, everything, like I hadn't gotten groceries before that happened. So like I had no food.
You hadn't gotten groceries? Like
No.
had not?
Yeah. Like
Oh
I was
my
already like
gosh.
running out of groceries, and then that happened where everything shut down.
Dude.
So there was one night I'm like, me and Z always laugh about it because like I was literally just sitting on the couch eating a can of beans. Like it was wild, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I remember like me, him, and Nathan ran out. Like we walked out of the neighborhood and then across the train track, like onto the road out there.
Mm.
And it was just like solid ice. Like you're just standing on solid ice. Which is crazy to think about in Texas.
Yeah, this must have been because I remember there was one other time in my lifetime that I remember having a freeze like that bad. And I think I might have been in like middle school or something. But it was really similar to that. And I remember like putting on my tennis shoes, and we have a pretty long backyard. Like I think it's probably like, I don't know, like 100 feet maybe from like our garage to the back fence. And I remember putting on my tennis shoes and like running full speed, like kind of like half jumping and sticking, like planting my feet on the ground, and I could slide like almost all the way down my backyard because it was
No
just
way.
like a sheet of ice.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I remember that pretty distinctly.
Yeah, I didn't know that like Texas could get like that. Because I mean, that's something I never experienced in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, the place that it hit I think the worst in Kerrville, we had gone to this like Jellystone Yogi Bear Park for like a family sort of like reunion type thing. And I remember Taylor and I walked down to the river, and it was like just almost like bone dry. And I think that's like, I'm pretty sure that's like the exact same river. It's the Guadalupe, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so to think about like in my head, that river being like 20 feet up full of water is mind boggling. I mean,
it really is.
we were at the Blue Hole just last week for young adults, and Nathan like jumped off this massive cliff.
I can't believe Nathan did that.
I know. I was thinking about you where I was like, Zach would definitely freaking like backflip off of this thing or something. But there's like I didn't realize there was this taller one, but there's like a main cliff that most people jump off of, and it's probably like, I don't know, 25 feet. And then there's like, you go up farther, and there's basically a cliff that's like double the height. And I'm pretty sure it's probably like 50 feet or so. And that's the one that Nathan jumped off. It was the tall one.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And he like no hesitation was just like, I'm going, and just jumped.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Yeah, he just went. I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude, I'm impressed. That's
I know.
crazy.
Me too. And anyway, to think about that, I'm pretty sure that high cliff was like only 5 feet of that 50 feet was sticking out above the water line, dude.
That is so insane, dude. I mean, gosh. Yeah, that video we were watching last night.
I was just thinking about that.
Like, dude, in a matter like 30 minutes, bro. 30 minutes, the water raises by like 20 feet. That's
Did you
so
see a
insane.
house floating down the river?
Yes. The cat inside. I guess so. I don't really understand. I've never like looked into what exactly a flash flood is, but do you know how it happens? Like how it actually occurs?
I don't. I really don't. I mean, my like layman's idea of it is like, a ton of rain comes down, and then I guess somewhere along the way, like water's got to just start accumulating. And if like probably flows downhill a certain way,
Yeah.
so it's got to just like slowly gain exponential amounts of water and speed to, and then at some point it becomes super dangerous. But like you never know. I guess you never know when that is or where it happens, and that's I think the terrifying part.
That's insane.
The only other times I've really seen like flash floods like that are in like national parks or in caves,
Yeah.
or like where people go in caves by I guess it's not a flash flood, but like when they go in caves by the ocean and they'll get hit by like the tide will come up, or they'll be in like a national park or something and it's like super dry, and all of a sudden just like they're in like a canyon, and all of a sudden it's just
Yeah.
like a wave of water comes in.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it happens.
Yeah, I've never seen, definitely never ever been like this close to something like that. But it did remind me a lot of like North Carolina and everything that went down there. It looked the same.
Did you see like a tropical storm hit there?
North Carolina? Or
I think it was South Carolina.
oh,
Yeah, they
it's pretty
just
bad?
got
Or
like I think I just saw they just got flood warnings.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Gosh, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's wild.
But yeah, I think they're
Yes.
gonna do an investigation on how, because I don't think enough people got notified early enough. I think like especially the
like
camp.
here?
Yeah, I think
Really?
especially the camp. I was hearing that they all got alerts on their phones, but everyone had already gone to sleep, and so I guess it wasn't.
Wow.
I don't know, early enough or good enough to give them enough time to evacuate.
Gosh, bro. I can't believe that. Yeah, so on the 4th, like you guys were just
Rained in.
that's crazy.
It was raining Thursday off and on, and then it just felt like basically all of Friday. Like we went to the Wilco Serve event at the detention center, and we got there at like 8:30. It was raining, and we didn't leave till like 12:30, and it was raining. And then we had the party over at our house, and it was raining all day. And then it was kind of off and on, but it was definitely drizzling 90% of the time at least.
Yeah.
And then we tried to go to the Georgetown fireworks show, which they said they were like, on Facebook, they were like still on for 9:30. And I was like, okay, sick, right? And we were playing this game that Lauren and Zach had brought called, it was kind of like catchphrase, where like you have to
Yeah, like guess the
gesture
word.
the word, right? But this one you could only use sounds, no gestures. which is way harder than it sounds.
Yeah.
The first one I pulled was recorder, and I was like, how do I? My first thought was like a digital recorder, so I kept being like. Sick.
Car horn going off. That's hilarious.
So yeah, I was saying we play one more game, then if we wouldn't have played the last game, we probably would have caught more of the fireworks. Because when we went, we were like, oh, there's fireworks going off. And, we went like all the way into the park area. And
Oh, so they did still do it?
yes, but we went all the way to the park area. I got there, at 9:30. And there's like all these cars coming out. And we were like, what the heck? And people were like walking back, just getting soaked. Because it started raining pretty hard by that time. And so it turns out they had started it early, and when we were driving there seeing fireworks, that was the finale.
No
So
way.
we got there like right as it
No.
like right as after it ended. So that
Dang.
kind of sucked. And then we were supposed to go to another party on Saturday night, and that got canceled too because it was raining.
That sucks.
It didn't rain Sunday morning, but it rained. Pretty sure it rained like Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. Off and on. And the parking lot at church got like a crazy amount of mud in it.
I bet.
Like half of they like had to shut down like half the parking lot.
Dang. Yeah, we didn't really. I mean, when we were in Florida, like we got rain, but it was just like a typical Florida summer like rain. You know, like it's like clear as day in the morning. Then around 3:00, a thunderstorm comes in, and then like an hour later, it's clear again. But I will say, one of the days we were there at the vacation house, there's a bad thunderstorm, dude, where it was like, because we're like right on the water, so sometimes like the storms on the Gulf can just be just a little bit more intense. And I think we had just gotten back from kayaking. Like we were out on the water kayaking, and like the storm started coming in, so we're like rushing to get back. Like the wind's coming. It's like,
Ooh.
yeah,
Dude,
and
I
you
didn't-
got like Victoria and Aaliyah who are both pregnant. Like out there on kayaks.
That's a new fear unlocked. It's just getting swept out to sea on a kayak.
Yeah.
By wind.
Well, yeah, we weren't like, we didn't even make it out of the canal. Like, so we're like, it's like literally kayaking through a neighborhood, which is kind of sick. But
Yeah.
it's not like you're out on like the ocean,
Yeah.
But the water it can still get rough from the wind. But anyways, so we're like, okay, no, so this was different nights. So one of the nights I think this was the night before we left, because I remember we were like packing up, and there's a storm outside. It was getting like super intense. The lightning. Like, have you ever been like, I don't know, because at least like all my time in Texas, I've never seen a thunderstorm like Florida
Really?
has one. Yeah, where like the lightning, just like it'll strike, like 50 yards out, and it's just like the craziest sound like you'll ever hear. And so this happened where it was so funny because like we're all out, like everyone's just going around the house cleaning and getting everything, because we wanted to be able to like, we had to check out of the house at 10 a.m. the next day. So we wanted everything to be ready so we could just wake up, throw everything in the truck and leave, right? So we're all scrambling around the house cleaning up. And so me and Michaela are out in the pool area, like outside, kind of like cleaning up, and she's like deflating this giant blow up ball. And like it's super dark out, and like the wind is just going crazy, and like the rain and everything, it's like really coming down. And so you see the lightning, and like it's kind of getting closer and closer, And so like a general rule of thumb they say in Florida is like, when you see a lightning strike, every 5 seconds from then, between then and the thunder is a mile. Yeah. So like you see the lightning and like you count, like, okay, it's getting closer.
Yeah.
And so this one time, dude, like Michaela's out there deflating the ball, And I'm like standing, it's like a giant sliding glass door that the house has. I'm like standing right there. And I just turned around and then, dude, I see like everything around me just like light up and just like, like, dude, like I felt it like to the core of my soul. Like it was just
Like a lightning strike.
yeah, like it. JC, he said he saw it like hit the water, like just outside the house, and dude, it was. I can't even describe like the feeling. Like it's so loud, just like so much power that like,
Dude,
you just feel, dude. It was. I turned around and the kid was like, it was wild.
I wonder what that does, like in the water.
Dude, I wondered the same thing. Because like you don't see like dead fish come up or anything. So I've wondered if it's like the surface tension of the water that kind of like insulates it.
We need like a scientist.
I know.
Should we ask our friend?
Pull it up, dude.
Chatty
it was. That was one of the craziest lightning strikes I'd heard in a long time.
So it was like freshwater. You said it was a canal, like freshwater canal.
It was saltwater, yeah, canal, like that led to the Gulf of America.
Okay. Massive electrical discharge. A lightning bolt carries up to 1 billion volts and tens of thousands of amps. When it hits salt water, it rapidly discharges into the water's surface, creating a localized explosion of energy. Flash boiling and steam explosion. The lightning's energy instantly vaporizes water at the strike point. This can cause a steam explosion, throwing water and spray into the air. It also creates a loud crack or boom as superheated air expands rapidly.
Yeah, we heard that.
Radial electrical spread. Salt water is more conductive than fresh water due to dissolved ions. Didn't know that. Mainly sodium and chloride. The current spreads out horizontally across the surface and slightly downward in a dome or pancake-shaped pattern, dissipating quickly with distance. Still, the water near the strike can be deadly within dozens of feet. And then shock hazard to marine life. Fish and organisms near the strike can be stunned or killed by the electrical current, especially those with air bladders or those close to the surface. Creatures deeper in the water are less affected due to the skin effect. Electricity stays near the surface.
Okay.
Huh.
So that makes sense.
The more you know.
Yeah. That's crazy, dude. Gosh.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. I wonder what, like, I would love to hear someone's story on like getting shocked by lightning and surviving.
Dude, I know.
And the people that have like lightning scars.
Yeah. What does it feel like to get struck by lightning, bro? Apparently more people get struck by lightning than get like bitten by a shark.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they always say in Florida.
To make you feel better?
Yeah. Especially because New Smyrna is like the shark capital of the US or something like that.
Is it really?
Yes, dude.
You mean the place that you brought us to swim? Great.
Yeah, dude.
I still remember that moment when we were all running in the water and it was freezing, and then you like dove, but you kind of like jacked up your toe really bad. Do you remember that?
I remember diving. I don't remember that though. Maybe
You like
I did.
messed up your foot or something like
I
that.
probably did. I probably did something stupid like that. Yeah, that's what I like. You hear
Winston, maybe.
You hear a lot of times like the pilots that like, you know, when they fly over with the banners. You ever seen that, like a plane?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of times like I've heard that they say like from their perspective, like you look down, like there's people and like 50 yards out, there's just like a crap ton of sharks just everywhere.
At New Smyrna?
Yeah, but you just never know. Like, you
Whoa.
would never know.
Whoa, dude.
Pretty nuts.
That is insane.
Yeah. Dude, when I was flying, this is super random, but because we're talking about lightning, when I was flying from here to Orlando, there's a point, like, they were saying that there was a bunch of thunderstorms around, which is why a lot of the flights were delayed. And there's one point, like, because it was a late flight. Like, I don't think I landed until 2 a.m. or something. But so it was like the middle of the night, and at one point I kind of like woke up and just put down the window to look outside. And literally, as soon as I put down the window, like, okay, have you ever been in a plane and like you're kind of on, like, you can see like a thunderstorm below or something like that?
No.
Okay, well, I mean, I've seen that, and it's pretty cool. Like, you can like see all like the thunder clouds and like the clouds
Really?
lighting up and everything. Yeah. But so this time was different because I'm looking out like just like straight ahead and just like way off in the distance. Dude, I swear it was like red lightning that like just like struck across the sky like horizontally. It was it was like, I was like, is this real? It looked insane, dude.
And this is your flight. You said your flight back?
This is the flight on the way there.
On the way there.
Yeah. And it happened like several times. So when I explained it to, I was talking about it with Jared when he was there, and he was like, dude, if you saw what I think you saw, like, he was saying that's like almost as rare as seeing like the Northern Lights. I was like, no way.
What?
So it looked insane, dude. So I mean, who knows?
Like red tinted lightning?
Like red lightning, bro. Like crimson red. And just like horizontally, like shooting across the sky. Like, it was, I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy.
Red lightning sounds like a bad name for a vigilante.
It does.
Red lightning.
It sounds like something you'd hear in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't really have a good segue for this, I guess, but I've been reading these two books, and it's just like, it's really fascinating to me how, and they're both fiction, okay? And one might call them like more on the girly side of books because I don't really know why, but there's like, the main characters are female, and it's usually has like love stories in them. But I like them a lot because they're based inside of wars. And it's really fascinating because, so the first one's Nightingale and the second one is The Women. And Nightingale I just read for the second time, and it's based in World War II. And it's about these two French sisters. One's like a mom, and one's like a super rebellious, like, 20-year-old or whatever, like teenager basically. And long story short, one of them ends up becoming like a French Parisian. Like, they joined the underground guerrilla war the French had against the Germans.
Yeah.
And like basically becomes this like hero, and takes a lot of prisoners out. And then, like, the same time that she's doing all that, her older sister is being a mom, and like is totally different from her, and has a German officer like belayed at her house. And, like, which is, so the whole point of me saying all this is like, throughout these books, it has like been so insane to read about what these people like went through, because I like grew up watching a bunch of war movies like with my dad and everything, and most of the war movies obviously are like soldiers or whatever like fighting or some subset of that, right? Like Furies, amazing movie about a tank crew, right? But like, and then in the movies you'll have scenes with civilian, you'll like see civilians or whatever, but like this book is like centered around the other side of the war, which was basically being a civilian, and then you get occupied by the Germans for like 4 years. God. And dude, you don't even make it to like, it's like 3/4 of the way through the book before the Americans even join the war.
Really?
Which is wild to like think about how, because like France got taken, I think, on one of really early on, during like the Blitzkrieg. And so the Germans would just basically like hole up in the town, in all the towns, and then the officers would get their pick on where they wanted to stay. And so one day she just gets a German officer like knocking on her door being like, hey, I've gotten orders to belay here, and so I'm going to pick a room. And just like that, you have like the enemy living with you.
Dude, that's
so
insane.
Not, but like the author does such a good job of like showing you the dynamics of what it's like to have that happen.
Yeah.
Because in one sense, it's like, okay, this is like the enemy that's living in my house, which is like the most, intimate atmosphere you possibly could have.
Yeah.
And he's like, bringing home this super nice, super good food, because they get all the best picks of the food. Now, while all the civilians get ration cards, and they basically slowly throughout the war get less and less food, worse and worse food. So, you're the worst part is like she's basically walking, through the streets of France, seeing Germans, having like the best wine, the best food, like not eating everything on their plate, like tons of waste. And she's like literally starving. Like literally her and her daughter, all they had was like fake bread and like fake coffee or whatever, like stale bread and fake coffee.
Yeah.
And so that one's really crazy. And then the one I'm reading right now is about Vietnam, and it's about a girl whose brother, I'm trying not to spoil anything, whose brother went off to Vietnam, and she was like, I'm gonna follow him, and like becomes an army nurse, and goes overseas in Vietnam, and basically serves in like the ER basically, or like as like a surgeon's assistant in the OR or whatever for all the casualties coming in. And she goes from like being a super innocent girl to like working 12 to 14 hour shifts, trying to save 18-year-olds who got both their legs blown off, and like she's like the last person that they'll talk to or see.
Yeah.
Just like insane stuff.
Well, how'd you find these books?
Well, so I read Nightingale like I think 2 years ago, and then she has another book called The Great Alone, which is about Alaska, which was all right. I liked it. It's good, but like not my favorite. Like my favorites are the one that she does about the wars. She does so much research. If you look in the back of the book, you can see how much research she does about the wars to make them accurate.
So it's like it's fiction, but it's like realistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I guess I just never really understood like equally how terrible it was for like the nurses and the people that like the support staff in the war, but also the civilians, and like what's because in America you never hear stories because there was never any enemies in America.
We've never
but like
something like that.
But like in Europe it was like they started the war, they, occupied, and they just basically sat there for years until America joined the war, and like it was only in those last few years that it really like ramped up bad.
That's so crazy to think about, dude. Gosh.
And you saw, she like walks you through in the book how the food gets just slightly less and less. All the supplies are just like they dwindle little by little, and then also the Germans like start to get angrier and angrier and like more violent because they're starting to like lose the war.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you also see the violence against Jews start to like ramp up more and more and more and more and more, to the point where I see how like the author presents these scenarios that are just so terrible that it really makes you reconsider like what you would do in that scenario. Like, I'll give you an example. So the back of the book, there's a person who was like, super like a doctor in Jewish war studies or whatever. And she was like, this author does a fantastic job of showing you what we call choiceless choices that happen in war. And, one of them is like the older sister I was talking about, who's the mom. She has a daughter, and then she ends up like basically adopting her best friend's son during the war. And she has this German officer belayed with her who basically starts to fall in love with her. He's also married with a kid back in Germany. And so he would basically he would sort of break the rules for them. So like when it started to get really bad, he would like kind of like sneak food home for them. And so you have this like dilemma happening where the mom is like, do I literally receive food from the enemy and
feed like everyone,
or like let my daughter starve
Yeah.
based on like my principles?
Gosh.
It's just, you start to, you go through those and then like, oh dude, to see, this was so tough too, is like, no one knew how bad the war was going to get. So at the beginning, everyone's like really optimistic that it's going to be over soon. Right? Like everyone holds out hope because no one wants to believe that anything bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
And like you see throughout the book how sort of like making choices to hope for good things, like that the war is going to end, prevents them from making hard choices sooner. But by the time that they're like forced to make this choice, it's way worse.
Gosh.
And so it's like you just slowly see them get into more and more lose-lose situations where like no matter what they choose, it's just like pain. Like they lose someone they love, or they, face starvation or violence, or get sent to a freaking prison camp. And it just, I say all that to say that those two books give me such an appreciation, like way more than I thought that they would, for my life. And not just my life, but like the little things of like waking up in the morning and making real coffee. Like,
Yeah.
what? Or I don't know, just
like the leisure that like we get to have.
Yes.
Yeah. We should just like take for granted
Yes.
so easily.
And I hate that. Like it's one of my least favorite things about being human, is how easy it is to be ungrateful.
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid, dude.
Yeah. So how did, like, when an officer is belayed with, they're French, right? Like with like a French family. Like, how does that work exactly? Like, do they literally just like sleep there and then leave for the day, or like do they like share meals with them, or like
Yeah, so it's basically it's
is
basically
the
like
family like required to take care of them in like any certain way, or
yes. So essentially like they get to sleep there, but they also he basically also would expect her to cook for him. So like he would bring home food in the beginning, she would cook for him, but they would eat only the food they got from the ration cards. And then
that were given by the Germans, or
that are allowed by the Germans,
okay.
basically. So that, you know, the Germans they took control of all the farms and everything so that they would make sure they got the best food, and then they would just, you know, leave the rest to whoever.
Yeah.
But the thing about the ration cards is you'd have to get in line and stand in line. You had to get in line at the beginning of the day super early to beat everyone. And then you have to stand in line for like hours. And you may only get like a crappy slice of meat or like, you know, a string of beans or something like that. Like that's it for the day.
Gosh, dude.
That's all you do every day is you go stand in ration lines just to get some kind of food for that day's meal.
That's the stuff that like that gets me. Like when it comes to food, just like how I feel the same way sometimes. Just like how, because I mean it's so cliche, like everyone says it, but just how easy it is to take food for granted. Because I literally could not imagine that. If that was my life, just like going and stand in the line all day just to get like a sliver of meat, bro.
Like some stale bread.
Gosh. Like I enjoy food so much.
Mm.
When I did carnivore, dude, that sucked. Like, but like I had a choice to do that, which is, you know, it's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, yes, like he would basically get up, eat, go to work, and it's basically like having a husband there, but it's the captain of the enemy. It would be like, this is how insane for us it would be. It would be like having like a Taliban leader just like in your guest bedroom. And you'd have to like make their food in the morning for them. While they go out and like try to kill your people.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How do they do that though? How do the Germans, how can the officer like sleep at night knowing like a family, like one of the people in the house, like, is it going to try to kill them or like poison them or whatever?
I mean, I guess that is a possibility for sure. But the risk is basically getting your family tortured.
I mean, yeah,
and
true.
then killed.
Yeah, true.
Or sent to a concentration camp, so.
That's true. Gosh, bro. Yeah, literally could not imagine that. That's something I really want to do this year, dude, is I need to be on top of my reading. I'm in between like 5 books right now, dude. That's so annoying.
Yeah. I don't know. I find that reading fiction books for me kind of gives me energy to read other books.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Or at least it's like a nice break. Because finding a really good fiction book that I enjoy kind of like keeps the love alive for reading. And then I can kind of read maybe something that's more dense.
Yeah.
Less fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Is there any like fiction books that you read as a kid that were like bangers or series that you loved?
Dude, all of like Ted Decker's books.
That's right. You're a big Ted Dekker.
Dude, I
guy.
was like a Ted Dekker fanatic, bro. I think I've read like probably
Damn.
like at least 20 of his novels.
20?
Yeah. And that was like by the time I was in high school, like by the time I got to college.
Really?
Yeah. Because I started,
Dang,
like,
dude.
my friend Mitchell introduced me to him when I was in like 5th or 6th grade.
Mm.
And he wrote a book called 3, which is like a thriller, serial killer-ish kind of thing. And it's such a good book, dude. Like, all of his books are like that, or most of them. They're like thrillers, or sometimes he does like fantasy, but his books are fantastic, dude. I would recommend his books to anybody because they're so good. Especially his Circle series. Like he has a series. It's like red, black, white, green.
Right.
Yeah,
I still don't understand how you can write a book series like that.
dude. Like how he wrote them, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You want to explain to people who don't know?
Yeah, basically, it's 4 books. It's called the Circle series, and so it's called the Circle series because you can start. There's black, red, white, green. You can start on black and end on green, or you can start on green and end on white. So like, you can start on black and go black, red, white, green, or you can start on green and go green, black, red, white. Like, so I mean, really, technically, you could start on any one of them as long as you go in the right order. But it's the whole premise is like, it's this guy who, like, when he sleeps, he wakes up in another reality that's like kind of similar to, it's like way off in the future, but it's very similar to like the Adam and Eve time.
Mm-hmm.
And like biblical times, I guess. So like whenever he goes to sleep, he like wakes up in the other reality.
Hmm.
And it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other fiction ones though that I've read that like I really liked. I don't know. I'm reading the Witcher series right now.
Really?
Yeah, there's like that's the series I've been reading for the past like 5 years. But there's 8 books. So I think I'm on book 6 right now. And they're pretty good. I actually think they're really good. I don't know why. Like, I just go through, it's so hard for me to like sit down and read sometimes. Even like on a plane, I'll bring a book
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll just end up like sitting there and I just sit there
Just
and
sitting
just
there?
think.
Just
Like,
sit there and
yeah,
think.
yeah.
I get that.
So
I get that.
yeah. But then every time I do read, I'm like, dang, I should read more. You know?
Yeah, I think I read something that reading fiction actually helps grow a part of your brain
I've heard that
that
too.
imagines, I think. Whatever part of your brain that does the imagining.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
helps you, I don't know, get better
Which
at
makes
that.
sense. I mean, I can see how it helps like your creative side.
Mm.
But yeah, dude, there really is nothing like a good fiction book where you just get like lost in this little world.
Yes,
You know?
dude.
Like when you're like just like really in it, dude, gosh. Like it's been a while since I've read like a page turner, you know?
Where you're like, you should go to sleep. But you're like,
Yes,
"Oh,
dude. I'm just like in bed
one
like,
more
yeah.
chapter."
Yeah, like I'm gonna finish this tonight. Dude.
Yeah, reading a book a really good one like that, it somehow is like better than a movie,
Mm.
and it leaves you feeling better at the end.
Yeah, dude. It
It's
does.
just like, it's like eating a good meal versus eating junk food.
Yeah.
It's just,
That's a pretty good way to put it.
Mm.
Speaking of movies, I'm hearing a lot of good reviews about F1.
Really?
Dude. Yeah.
Thank God.
I know, dude.
Dang, if you're gonna go to Bob Bullock to see it,
I
please be good.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh. I will say I'll give just a little sneak peek for the Scandal of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's I'm curious to know how they wrote it, because obviously Dallas Willard passed away several years ago, but this book is published in his name,
Mm-hmm.
and it was published this year or something. And you can tell when you're reading it, it's just not the same exact tone he had in his books,
Yeah.
It's a little bit more, which isn't a bad thing, because it's a little bit easier to digest, because Dallas Willard he just wrote in a way where you'd have to it's so good that
It's
dang, I gotta read that
chewing-
paragraph 3 times.
It's like chewing food that you just can't swallow.
Yes.
Until you
Yeah.
chew it 40 times.
Yes, dude. That's the perfect way to say it. Yeah. So this one is I would say is much more digestible. It's much more he kind of breezes through a lot of the themes in Divine Conspiracy and everything, talking about Jesus as the most intelligent person that's ever lived, and
Gotcha.
seeing him that way, all that.
Yeah.
So then he goes into the parables, and it talks about why Jesus spoke in parables as much as he did, and he goes into the whole verse where Jesus talks about not giving pearls to the pigs, right? Basically saying you can't. And also it's you have to be as wise as a serpent,
Innocent
and
as doves.
yes, yeah. So he's saying the whole purpose of Jesus saying that was he can't essentially tell someone something that they're not ready to hear, but they're not able to receive it, right? So the beauty of Jesus's parables is that it's the way he gets these themes across through this story, and the way he packages it allows it to be, I guess, applicable to anyone across the spectrum of where they are in terms of belief, right? Or in terms of their relationship to the Father or whatever. So it talks about, I think the first one it talks about is the parable of the seed, that some seed falls on the rock, some seed falls on in the thorns, and some falls in the good soil, right? All that. So he explains how so often we're taught that from that parable, we read it in a fatalistic sense, where it's some people hear the word and it's on, and it falls on the rock, and nothing ever comes of it, and they don't become saved.
Yeah.
Or and then some people receive the word, and it's really good news at first, but then the thorns, just bad people or bad influences, whatever, choke them out. And so they end up not being saved. And then so on and so on. Then you have people who hear the word, they're saved, and they're God changed their lives. But he explains how that's not necessarily what Jesus was teaching, and that he was essentially saying that we are all no matter where you are, how long you've been a Christian, how long you've been a believer or whatever, that parable applies to you at all times, because I could be a believer for 20 years, right? But if I'm not ready to receive something that God wants to give me, then I'm still the soil that, I'm still the rocky soil. It all, just because someone was say someone in the crowd that Jesus was preaching to was like the rocky soil, doesn't mean that they will always be the rocky soil. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the path that they're on right now. So he
Dude.
talks about that's like,
That's so funny you say that because I've been thinking about that parable lately.
really?
Yes. Yes.
Like, just cuz, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like come on my mind randomly, thinking about it, and I realized that is kind of how it's taught, is like the fatalistic,
Yeah.
like you either are or you aren't.
Yes.
This type,
Yeah.
and that what you're describing makes so much more sense.
I know, dude. I know. It's crazy how he does that. Yeah. Because that is how, like, I've always, like, heard that message preached or, like, taught or, and, like, read it myself. Is like, you want to be the good soil.
Hmm.
Which obviously, like, that is the goal. Like, you want to be, like, you know, the one that you want to be the soil where, like, the seed's planted and you grow to its, like, fullest potential, all that. But, like, it's a day-to-day, like, condition of the heart, you know? And so I guess, yeah, that's just like why that's like how he was explaining the parables, is like, Jesus is not going, and like God, I guess, in your relationship with him, like, he's not going to, like, say you, like, are seeking for this answer for this problem you're having, or like you don't understand why something's happening in your life or whatever, and like you want answers. Like, God is not going to give you an answer that you're not ready for. Because imagine like if Jesus, like, with all the Pharisees there and everything, just like told them straight up, you know, like, you're wrong about this, right? Like,
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be betrayed by this person.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, you guys are the hypocrites. Or it's like, he did eventually say those things.
Yeah.
But like, if you just went down the line off the bat, like, saying all that stuff, then like, you're feeding pearls to the pigs. Like, you're throwing pearls to the pigs. Like, they're gonna instantly, like, because their hearts are, like, hardened, they're gonna instantly, like, reject it. And so he's saying how Jesus teaching the parables was actually, like, in his eyes, like, what Dallas Willard is saying is actually an act of grace, because it allows them to, like, take this story and, like, mull it over, and like it's a seed. It's like a seed that, like, is planted in them, that like, over time, like, everyone like, when you hear a good story, like, you think about it, you know, especially a story like a parable where you have, like, these two oftentimes, like, contradictory things that, like, makes you think, like, okay, like, who am I in this situation, you know, like, who am I in this story? And so,
wow,
yeah, it's just, God, like, that's like the first 3 chapters, dude. It's so good.
It really is so rich.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe it was you who told me this. I can't remember. Maybe I read it at the end of his biography. But I think he had, like, started writing that book and hadn't finished it.
Oh,
and so
really?
I think so.
Huh.
So that's probably why it reads that way. Is I think, like, his students or whatever had to, like, find a way to finish it.
Yeah.
Or sort of like synthesize all of his notes.
Yeah, which that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool. It's cool that they did that.
It is. Yeah. I mean, much rather have a new Dallas Willard book than nothing.
I know.
For sure.
Gosh, I've just never, like, read anyone, dude, who talks about or explains the kingdom like he does. It's just like every time I read it, like his stuff, I just walk away like mind blown, dude. Like it makes me like sometimes I just walk away and I'm like, how is like am I just like missing this, or like how come no one else talks about this stuff?
Yeah, I'm like, man, why didn't we read this SIU? Why was no one talking about this SIU?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, we've been down that road.
we've beat that horse.
We have.
Well, we're right at an hour.
Nice.
So, we kind of got a late start. So,
I know. Yeah.
You can call it here.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. If you stuck around to the end, appreciate you. Zach's back. We're back on track. And we'll catch you on the next one. Second Floor Experience. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out.
I want to talk to you. Not now, later. No, now.